What's up YouTube? Silver Dragons here, and in this video I want to talk about what the ultimate silver stacking fail is. So let's do it! Thank you so much for watching my video. I sincerely appreciate it. If you want to learn more about investing in precious metals, or if you just want to watch awesome videos about gold and silver, then subscribe to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm talking about the ultimate silver stacking fail. Okay, it sounds epic, it sounds crazy, I know, but I'm going to talk about one of the biggest failures that a silver stacker can actually make. Now, when you're silver stacking, there's so many things we can talk about, so I'm going to talk about a few honorable mentions and some things that I've heard a lot of different YouTubers talking about, and we'll cover those before we get to the ultimate fail. Now, this silver that you see in front of you here, I actually recently picked up all of this, which is why I'm showing it in this video. You know, why not show some fun silver items? I didn't buy all of this for stacking. Some of it is for my collection, but why not show it off? So we'll start with this piece here. Really cool piece of poured silver. This was actually done by another member of the community, and his name is Losing Louie. So what's up, Losing Louie? I hope you're watching this video, and I'm showing off your piece here. I didn't buy it directly from him. I actually bought it from another community member who was trying to offload it, and I got it at spot. So really good deal. But anyway, okay. So let's talk about this stuff. Now, some silver stacking fails that aren't the biggest fail. One thing that everyone always likes to talk about is buying the right kind of silver versus buying the wrong kind of silver. It seems like everyone has an opinion on what type of silver you should be buying, what type of silver you should be stacking. I mean, if you just type in silver stacking, you'll see countless videos on the best thing to stack. You should be stacking this versus this, etc. I mean, I've even made videos like that before myself. And yes, there are things that are better to be stacking than others, but that's clearly not the biggest fail. If you're buying silver, you're doing it right. I mean, that's the whole point, right? It's silver stacking. So, of course, there's tons of different types of silver you could buy. There's pure silver, which is 3/9 fine, or you can get silver that's been refined even more, which is 4/9 fine silver. You could buy sterling silver. You could buy 90% constitutional silver or junk silver. You can buy 40%, 35%, right? There's so many different types of purities of silver, but there's also silver bars, silver rounds, collectible types of silver, silver coins. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And in my opinion, as long as you're buying silver, you are doing it right. That is silver stacking. So if you wanted to, I've never bought a 100-ounce bar, ever. And if you wanted to stack exclusively 100-ounce bars, then go for it. That's great. That's awesome. If you want that to be your silver stack, then by all means, knock yourself out, right? Now, 100-ounce bars, there are some things you should know, like you're going to sell them for a little bit under spot. You're not going to get spot likely for your 100-ounce bars. That's just the way the markets go. They're also very heavy, very big and bulky, right? And you can't break them up. So, you know, there's some things about 100-ounce bars that I'm not a big fan of, but if that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to stack, that's awesome. Go for it. So that's one thing that a lot of people talk about when it comes to silver stacking. Like for me, I picked up these poured silver items, the slacker bar, this skull piece, and this little button here. I picked them up because I like them. I like buying poured silver. I pour my own silver, and I like collecting beautiful pieces. So that's why I bought them. But are these great for silver stacking? Absolutely not. These are definitely more collector pieces, and I probably wouldn't be able to get what I paid for them if I went and sold them. So I don't have any plans on selling these. I want to keep them. But a lot of people would say that's a big silver stacking fail. And, you know, in my opinion, you should have a really heavy base of good silver that you can sell if you need to before you venture into the more high premium things and fun things, collectible things, but you don't have to do that. You know, I would recommend trying to get at least 500 ounces of either American Silver Eagles or generic silver or whatever country you live in, their silver bullion coin, stuff like that before you wander into the more high premium stuff. That's just my opinion, but honestly, it's not the biggest fail to buy this stuff. So that's one thing that people talk about I want to bring up. Another thing, while we're on the topic of high premium silver, is that people think it is a massive fail to spend too much on silver items. There's a lot of silver stackers out there that think that you should be buying silver as cheap as you humanly possibly can. And I get that. I totally understand that. And for the average silver stacker, that is a really smart way to do it. That's a great way to go about stacking silver and just buy the cheapest silver you can. Like this coin right here, it's actually a restrike, but it has a dragon on it, and I paid a high premium for this. But the reason I bought it was because I liked it, and I do collect silver with dragons on it. Obviously, my name is Silver Dragons here on YouTube, right? So I like dragon stuff, and so I bought it. But I do have a heavy stack of silver already that I could sell if I needed to. I know this is a high premium item, but I wanted to buy it. Now, here's the thing. I know that if I went and sold this to my local coin shop or a bullion dealer in my area, they're probably going to give me spot or maybe like $1 over spot for this piece. And I paid a lot more for it. So I know that that is not a route I would want to go when selling it. Just like the Chinese dragon, I also have the Japanese dragon here. Same exact thing. I would not want to sell this locally. If I wanted to get my money back for this, I know the best way to sell it would be on eBay or find another private party that wants to buy it off me who understands that there is a pretty heavy premium attached to this and they're willing to pay it because they like the design and they want to collect the piece. So I think for the average silver stacker, they probably aren't going to want to get into selling stuff on eBay or even private party because that's harder to do, right? There's a element of trust that has to be there when you sell private party. So I think that when you're paying more for these high premium items, you need to be very careful. But if you know what you're doing, honestly, you can even make money off these. So I don't think that's the ultimate fail. I don't think that's a massive fail to be spending money on high premium silver items. I know there's probably a lot of people that disagree with me, and that's okay. If you want to leave a comment down below, you know, we can duke it out in the comment section. But I think that if you're smart about it and you know what you're doing, then you can usually get your money back or even make money on some of these higher premium items. Okay, so I think that covers the main topics I wanted to talk about in regard to ultimate fails or things that people perceive to be ultimate fails, which in my opinion really aren't. But let's get to what I think is an ultimate silver stacking fail. And in doing so, let me show you this piece here. Actually, I picked up this piece of silver at spot. It is really cool. It's the White Lion of Mortimer. I got it on a Black Friday sale. So I got this really cheap, but that's really the only reason I bought it because I don't really love this piece. Real quick, before I talk about the ultimate silver stacking fail, I realized during editing that I completely forgot to show off this piece. It is the Pathfinder Red Dragon. And wow, what an amazing piece of silver. I could probably do a whole video just on this piece right here, but I'll just leave you with this cool little clip. And let's get back to the video. Anyway, the ultimate silver stacking fail, in my opinion, is having to sell your silver when you don't want to, or when you didn't plan on having to sell it. So that is probably one of the biggest silver stacking fails, and I have seen lots of stackers, even stackers in our community, have to do that, and it is just sad. It's heart-wrenching for these people that stacked all this silver. They saved so much money, and then they had to sell it when they didn't want to. So no silver stacker wants to buy a bunch of silver and then be forced to sell it at a loss or sell it much sooner than they planned on selling it. So now that you know what the fail is, how do you avoid that, right? So the main reason that people have to sell their silver stacks when they don't want to, or when they're not ready to, is because they just plain need money, right? And silver is money. Like this 2-ounce Libertad right here from Mexico. Absolutely beautiful. It's from 2015. It's got some toning on the bottom there. But this is money. And it's interesting, this doesn't even have a face value. This is made by the Mexican government, but nowhere on here does it say how many pesos it's worth, right? And as we know, in Mexico, they use the peso. But this is backed by the Mexican government. A lot of people argue that it's a coin, even though it has no face value. But whether it's a coin or not, that doesn't matter. This is silver. This is 2 ounces of silver, and silver is money. It's real money. It doesn't have to have a face value on it to be considered money. It's money because it's silver. And so a lot of us stackers, if we needed money and we didn't have any sort of reserves, we would have to be dipping into our silver stack to get money out of it. So when you buy silver, and then if you have to sell it in a short period of time, you're probably going to have to sell it at a loss, which that's incredibly sad. I would not want to have to sell any of my silver at a loss. So the way to avoid that is to have a reserve of fiat currency. And I know a lot of people have talked about this before. I've talked about this before on my other videos in the past, but I think it's extremely important. So I wanted to do a video just on it to bring it up again, that you really should have a reserve of currency to dip into so you don't have to dip into your silver stack. That would just be so tragic. So how much should you have? Now, a great place to start is $1,000. And if you have a bigger family like me, I got a wife and 3 boys, then more is better, right? Some people think $500 for every member of your family. So for me, maybe $2,500 is a better amount of fiat currency to have in reserve so I don't need to dip into my stack. If I got hurt at work, or if my car broke down, or just unforeseen circumstances pop up, you have to have some money. Now, you can either keep it in a savings account at your bank, or what I think is even better is you can have some bills, like $20 bills. Just put them in your safe with your silver. You have them there. A lot of people will argue that it's better to have even more than that. Some people say 3 months for all of your finances in cash. I think that's a little heavy, especially as a silver stacker. I know that when you put your money into fiat currency with inflation, you're losing buying power every year. So I'd rather put most of it into silver and only have a little bit in cash. Like for me, honestly, 1,000 to 2,500 is a really good range. So anyway, that's what I think the ultimate fail is. Now, I did make a video recently on stacking American Silver Eagles. I love stacking American Silver Eagles. That's my favorite thing to stack. It talks about what the best Eagles are to buy. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link in the corner up here. Definitely make sure you check that one out, especially if you're considering stacking American Silver Eagles, which is also kind of funny because I don't have any out in this video. I didn't buy any of them. These were other purchases that I made. I got most of this stuff on Black Friday. Some of these other stuff, like these 2 poured items, I bought at Spot. This one I bought just because I liked it. I paid the full price for it. Like that one I got at Spot. So some other fun things here that I picked up because they were priced right. Other things I just picked up because I wanted them. I wanted to acquire them for my collection, and I like them. And I do want to keep all of these pieces, with the exception of maybe that one. I might get rid of it at some point, but I got it for so cheap. I'm honestly in the black. I could make money on it. So I'm not too worried about that. But anyway, if there's anything you wanted to add to the conversation, if there's any thoughts you had on some of the silver stacking fails I talked about towards the beginning of the video, or the ultimate fail, which I obviously covered at the end, which is having to sell your stack when you don't want to. Oh, that's just so terrible. Definitely leave a comment down below. I'd love to talk with you about it. I do want to say a massive thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Silver Dragons out.